Straight away. With me is Gideon Falter, who's chairman of the charity Campaign Against Antisemitism, which has been very critical of Labour's handling of this issue. Thanks for coming in, Gideon. It's good to see you. So, first of all, any kind of outcome here which involves caveating this definition for you will be unacceptable. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a real insight into the mindset of people around Corbyn, that this row has gone on for so long, because this definition, without caveats, has been adopted around the world. It's been adopted throughout the UK by the Crown Prosecution Service and also organisations which are seen as quite closely aligned with the Labour Party, such as the National Union of Students. And all of them, without exception, found a way to adopt the international definition without any caveats. Yet here we are with the Labour Party, 2 years after the government adopted this definition, 4 hours into a meeting about whether or not to now do it after a whole summer of pressure, and yet they still can't seem to find the consensus to do this.
There is a line which, I've picked up time and again from some Labour spokespeople who are who have got equally strong views about this, and it's this, and it goes to the heart maybe of what we are discussing. Labour saying in some cases that without contextualisation, which they see as essential, that the line could curb legitimate criticism of the policies of Israel and the Israeli state. Now, if it is the case that people perceive that legitimate criticism to be, I don't know, stifled in some kind of way, do you at least acknowledge that that is a valid concern?
Well, no, because the reason that the authors of the definition, the authors of the definition were very keen to avert this particular problem, and that's the reason that it's gained this worldwide acceptance, because it includes within it one sentence that says that criticism of Israel, similar to that levelled at any other state, cannot be considered anti-Semitism. And the definition also says that context is vital. So all of these people saying that in some way it stifles criticism of Israel actually means something else. And I think there's something quite sinister going on here, which is that the definition would catch a number of key Labour people, including Jeremy Corbyn himself, over past actions and statements that he's made. And we think that the real reason for the resistance to adopting the definition is that it would actually mean that the Labour Party would have to take disciplinary action against Mr Corbyn under the definition.
Some people will say that's an amazingly cynical reading. What would you say to that?
I think it's just a realistic reading, because what other possible reason is there for them to not adopt the definition? If they say that for some reason it's not robust enough to adopt it within the Labour Party, but if the Crown Prosecution Service feels it's robust enough, if the College of Policing, which sets policy across all of the UK, thinks that this definition is so robust that they can include it in their operational guidance for hate crime policing, then clearly it's something that the Labour Party should have no problems with. And in fact, the Labour Party amongst the major parties is now alone with UKIP in not adopting this definition, and that should tell everybody what they need to know about this particular debate.
Let's say, and I'm not trying to preempt anything, let's say that the vote goes in a certain way, in the way that you and others would like, which is that this comes out as adopted without any qualification at all. Is it then a clear run, in your view, for Labour to rebuild its relationship with the Jewish community?
It would certainly be a good start. There are a lot of problems that need to be dealt with. So just in the past 24 hours, Peter Wilsman, who's a member of the National Executive Committee, who was caught in that appalling rant in which Jeremy Corbyn was present while he was shouting that Jews are Trump fanatics and falsifying claims of anti-Semitism. Peter Wilsman's just been re-elected to Labour's ruling body. And we also heard on LBC Radio this morning this secret dossier of hate crimes that the Labour Party has actually concealed from police, apparently, which has now been reported to Cressida Dick and is now being investigated. So there's an awful lot that the Labour Party needs to get in order, but getting this definition right without caveats would be a fantastic first step.
The problem, I suppose, politically, just looking at it in pure political terms, this is a leadership that has stuck to this course of action, and they've been facing huge criticism for it. But they've stuck to it, and I suppose, as I say, in pure political terms, there will be a view inside Labour today that, they should stick with it again. They really have kind of taken lots of knocks on it. So to change it now would be too little and too late, even for people like you.
I think that there's a real battle happening within Labour, because you see just before the summer recess, the Parliamentary Labour Party, all Labour MPs bar 4, voted to adopt this definition without any caveats. So for the Labour Parliamentary Party and the people who've spent their lives fighting Labour's cause in constituencies, there's just no issue with the definition. But for the leadership of the party, which is now very firmly under the control of Mr Corbyn, it's a huge problem. And what we're seeing is, for example, last week with Frank Field, who has spent his life in the Labour Party, nearly 40 years now as a Labour MP, he felt that he had to resign the whip because the party that he joined, which was ferociously anti-racist, has now become so institutionally anti-Semitic he feels that he can't take instructions from it anymore.
We will see what they come up with, maybe in the next hour, Gideon, but thank you very much for giving us your views.
Thanks
for
very
coming
much.
in. Thanks very much indeed. That was Gideon Falter, who's chairman of the charity campaign against anti-Semitism, and as I say,